All right, MMA fools, and it's actually going to be just two fools today. It looks like.
Yep, down two fools. We don't know where they're at.
we're not real sure what's happening.
They're missing.
MIA.
Maybe they're on dates for Valentine's.
Yeah, maybe.
It's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Recording this, so.
Yeah, we're dedicated. We don't give a fuck about holidays.
You said you're going out tonight with some lucky lady, so I don't know.
We'll see how it plays out.
Right.
But obviously we're just going to be previewing.
Well, we have UFC 258 to go over.
Yeah,
so.
UFC 258 we're going to go over and then recap that and then preview the next card. Got a little bit of news to run through. I will say, for how shitty I thought the card was going to be, it turned out more entertaining than I thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like cards like that where the name value isn't really there has a chance of still delivering good fights because as everybody who's watched MMA for a while knows, it doesn't really matter your name. I mean, there's fighters we've seen 2 years ago. If you'd have watched Kevin Holland 2 years ago, you just see a no-name.
Yeah.
And now he's somebody that you want to watch. So
Not
you
a superstar.
Yeah, and you put on good performances, you become a name eventually. So
yeah. Yeah, and like you, I agree with that completely because it gives these guys a chance to try to rise, and hopefully they put on a show.
Right.
And then Kevin Gastelum was on here too, but we'll go ahead and jump right into it. First fight of the night was, well, for the main card. We're not going to do the prelims, but Mikey Patolo versus Julian Marquez. And for me, I thought this fight was a little sloppy.
Yeah, it was.
And Patolo, normally known for his striking, was all
wrestled
about
often.
grappling.
Yeah, he sort of went on the wrestling offensive pretty early in the fight. He shot for a takedown within about a minute or so of the first round. And this is Marquez's first fight back since 2018, so he's been out for a while. So I feel like the first few rounds were him sort of getting back into the groove of a fight, feeling that pace for the first time. And, you can't replicate that in the gym, I don't think, as often as you want to get in shape. So I feel like he took a little while to get into the fight, but
yeah,
it was a pretty good fight.
It was still highly entertaining. I mean, we should say Julian won by third round submission.
Right.
One thing that I actually agreed with from the announcers, they said this was a fight of like the best nicknames because we had the Patalo's the coconut bombs and then the Cuban Missile Crisis with Marquez.
It's they match well together in terms of the names. It's just so opposite sounding, just like one's a serious sort of war name.
Yeah.
The one's like looks like it'd be like a gamer tag or something like that.
Right.
So
or like a video game fighter.
but I feel like Patola looked pretty good. I mean, I know that his record in the UFC isn't great. I know he's lost a few times, but he was a pretty good fighter. There's a lot of shifts in the fight with Marquez getting on top and reversing some of the grappling positions, and Patolo mainly being in control, but Marquez putting up a good fight in all the spots he needs to stay competitive.
Well, Marquez was definitely down going into the third.
For sure, yeah.
He needed to win, and his coaches told him, they're like, you need to go out here and finish this fight.
Yeah, Krause was cussing up a storm in the corner. Yeah. He was like going crazy on him.
He started throwing bombs, and he was tagging them.
Yeah.
And then Patolo tried to get back to the ground, and there was a scramble.
He went for like a guillotine, but then
which he had done multiple times in the fight.
Right.
And then ended up rolling over and ended up in an anaconda.
Yeah, he switched grips sort of after he rolled through and caught him with the anaconda. I think that's probably what sunk in the choke because I think Patolo was expecting another guillotine and he did the right moves to roll out of it.
Yeah.
But then once he locked up the anaconda, he couldn't roll over because of that forearm. But it was a pretty good comeback performance on somebody who knew they were down 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see somebody sort of kick it into second, third gear and get the finish when you need to get the finish.
And he was definitely tired too.
Oh, for sure. They both were pretty gas out by the third.
So it was an impressive comeback victory. And then after the fight, it looks like there may be some romance between Marquez and Miley Cyrus.
I feel like though, honestly, because Marquez isn't in a position to call out fighters, it's actually smart when you think about marketing-wise. Somebody who's going to call out something that could maybe go viral.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a better chance of making a name than like, oh, I want Derek Brunson. Like, you just think about like realistically, what name can you call out in the middleweight division that's going to get any sort of like trajectory online? nobody really for his rankings at, but calling out Miley Cyrus in a funny way, endears him to certain crowds, and that sort of could pick up online faster than a regular call out. So it was smart.
He also did some weird thing about stadiums, like who's the loudest.
Yeah, that felt like a commercial.
Yeah, well, and there's no crowds right now.
No, there's not. I know you've been out for a while, but we're in the middle of a pandemic, and there's no crowds for the UFC anymore.
Yeah. So, there might be 4 people.
He's still in 2019, just
right.
Not even just bunkering down, just training.
He's wait, what's going on?
Yeah. Shows up where's all the people? I know the card wasn't that stacked, but I figured a few people. Yeah, a few ticket sales here. At least Usman's family would be out there buying a ticket. But
oh my God! All right, so great win for Marquez. You think we should jump right into seeing maybe who we can with?
Yeah, we could just do the matchmaking as we do the fights.
Yeah, this is middleweight, right?
Right. Yeah, I feel like it's that way. We're circling back around sometimes is
Yeah, little taxing.
But he's unranked. Both these guys are unranked, so it's hard to even know. I mean, you could probably find. I was gonna say.
Well, let's not even go down any further. Let's just see if there's somebody.
Anybody up here that can.
Joaquin Buckley.
Sure.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He's coming off a loss.
Yeah. What was that for? Patolo or Marquez?
I was thinking Marquez.
Yeah.
Because Marquez isn't going to be anywhere, close to that ranking, right?
Right, or maybe the guy who beat Buckley also too, Alessio De Chirico. He just came off a win. Usually they match up winners and winners. I believe.
That's true.
That's how they sort of match make. Unless
so flip it.
Yeah.
Him versus Chirico and Buckley versus Patolo.
Or I know that Mearshart is fighting Bartosz Fabinski, so maybe the loser of that fight. Giles is fighting soon. Yeah, all these.
Or any of them can fight Khamzat.
Right, or he can get, yeah. I guess because Khamzat is still fighting COVID, so.
So crazy. But on his Instagram, it looks like he's out
partying. Yeah.
But then they're like, oh, they thought his manager
he's gonna die.
Thought he was going to die. I'm like, he was shooting guns.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel kind of bad, though, because it's I can't tell, if they said he trains for a round and, is out of breath and, just done.
Yeah.
It's crazy how it affects everybody differently. I guess that's a different podcast, but
right.
It's sad to see an athlete. I don't think Khamzat is ducking. I don't think he's ducking.
I don't think he's scared to fight anybody.
No,
I just don't know what's going on. Maybe he should be taking more care and not.
He should have not. Maybe went back to training and stop booking fights until your symptoms are gone and you could train 5-minute rounds or whatever you're gonna need to do.
And take it somewhat easy. Don't be constantly going out and doing shit.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about the immune system in terms of how it's taxed and everyone's differently, but it seems to me he's traveling a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just you're on planes for how many hours a week, and you're going around doing promotional appearances and different training camps. Chill at your house, get over your symptoms, train with your team, and slowly ease yourself back into the gym.
Yeah.
And this is said from somebody who's not a fighter or whatever, but it seems like common sense to clear yourself out, clear out the sickness before you go do extra stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
But yeah, that's I guess that's more news segment. But yeah.
But all right, so the next fight was Ricky Simón versus Brian Kelleher, who Ricky Simón won by decision. I kind of felt bad for Kelleher in this. It seemed like that cut at the very beginning just fucked him all up.
Yeah. Simón looked really good, though. His grappling looked excellent.
Wrestling looked really good.
Yeah, the way he was doing double legs and
fast.
Right.
Like the pressure was just nonstop. Kelleher couldn't breathe.
Yeah, he would level change right at the exact moment where Kelleher is trying to get into boxing combinations, and he would turn the corner and hit an angle and level change. And Simón sort of fought a really smart fight. It wasn't the best fight, but it was pretty technically sound. And he sort of shut him out every round.
Yeah.
But those front and face kicks that Kelleher was landing were pretty nice.
Yeah.
He landed about 3 of them. But Kelleher irrationally makes me, I don't know why, I just hate how he looks. No offense, Dave. You guys both have similar...
We have similar features here, Brandon.
You're way more handsome than Brian Kelleher, though.
Thank you.
And I don't like his tattoos.
Yeah, they're not great.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like. He just rubs me the wrong way.
With a beard and headphones.
And it looks like Jesus in his chest hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, if you're gonna have that, shave your chest, maybe.
I don't know, or grow more chest hair and just cover it completely. Completely, yeah.
But you can see by the numbers, it was pretty much complete domination.
Right.
What is this, late?
Well, this was fought at 145 because it was a late addition to the card. They moved up to 145, but they fight at 135, both of them. So yeah.
So what's that?
Bantamweight.
Bantamweight.
Yeah, they'll be matched in bantamweight.
So even though they're both at bantamweight, they'll probably still consider that kind of in the rankings, since even though they fought at featherweight, right?
Yeah, they'll still be. So Ricky Simmons already 18. I thought he should be higher.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he could fight maybe Chito Vera.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe that. I mean, he is coming off a loss, but it was to Jose Aldo.
Right.
And when you're getting this kind of high up, you kind of have to go with somebody that's coming off a loss and try to take their place, right?
What would be good would be a Sunchild, because I think that a Sunchild fight fell through. I think he was supposed to fight Bashwali or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's a decent jump up for him. And, man, Sunchild's coming off 3 straight losses.
Yeah, and like you think the people he's lost to, it's like Marlon Moraes, Corey Sandhagen, and Cody Garbrandt. Those are all different stylistic matchups than Ricky Simone. And Sunchild's a really good grappler, and I don't believe he's really been out-grappled in the way that Ricky Simone does to people. So it'd be interesting to see how he dealt with somebody who's more grappling-oriented rather than striking-oriented.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a good fight.
Well, and you can't knock a Sunchild too much for those 3 losses. I mean, those guys are all 3 fucking top 6, top 5.
Yeah, and they're all, especially as he's aging out. He's like 37, so he's getting a little older. So losing to somebody, Cody Garbrandt and Corey Sandhagen, those are young dudes that are killers,
Yeah.
But
and then for Kelleher,
I feel like he's fought everybody behind him.
Yeah.
Maybe Nathaniel Wood, he's right behind him.
Yeah, he's coming off a loss to Casey Kenny. I like that. I think that works. All right. So the next fight. Was Kelvin Gastelum versus Ian Heinisch. And actually, Ian Heinisch, I was not thinking of the correct person when we were previewing the fight.
That's funny. Who were you thinking of?
I was thinking of an older guy. I can't think of who I was thinking of now. But first thing I want to say is Ian Heinisch looks massive for that weight division.
He has like a Ninja Turtle back. His back is like a fucking turtle shell.
Yeah, it's just massive and muscular. And he was just, honestly, I think he actually has. So Kelvin Gastelum did win by decision. It wasn't a great win by any means,
right?
But he did pretty much dominate the grappling game.
Yeah, he initiated a lot of the grappling.
Is known for.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Kelvin's hands look slower, and his timing looked off with his hands.
He did not look like the same striker that fought Izzy.
No, and I think he sort of rose to that performance with Izzy, though. I feel like that's probably his peak in terms of, that's his best performance. Even though he lost that fight.
Yeah.
I'm though I think that, too, is some of the timing of Heinisch, they didn't really get into many boxing combinations. You think about his knockouts against Belfort and Bisping, that was in the pocket exchanges.
Yeah.
And Heinisch did a great job of not letting Kelvin get into that zone and land these combinations.
Right.
He would duck in under and sort of throw these looping overhands, sort of like how Clay Guida was doing to Michael Johnson last week. He would duck in and move his head around a lot, come in and under, and try to sort of fake a takedown and land overhand rights. And that's hard to sort of deal with when you're trying to box.
Yeah.
So I sort of attribute that to Heinisch's style and Kelvin maybe being a little rusty too in terms of, because you think about it, his last fight, he fought against Jack Hermanson, and how long was that fight? A minute?
Quick.
Yeah.
Just a quick submission.
So he doesn't really have a lot of time in the cage in terms of competing that way, and even the Till fight, that was a clinch heavy fight. Till wouldn't even let him get off any boxing combinations. But I feel like it was a workman-like performance of Kelvin. He showed his wrestling looks a lot better than we've seen it in a while. I still feel body-wise, he looked like shit.
Yeah.
He looked out of shape.
He body-wise, he looked out of shape, but he did look like he was gassing at any point.
No, he looked strong too.
Yeah, and he was. And for how much he was grappling, you would think he would have gassed.
Yeah, And he was looking for submissions. He had a pretty active top game. He did what he needed to do to beat Heinisch. Heinisch never really impressed me before this fight. I feel like the only way he could have won this fight was by bullying Kelvin and wrestling him. Because he doesn't have good hands. His striking's not that great. It's just serviceable. But his grappling sort of just focused on like pace.
Yeah. He did land a really good knee.
Yeah, he did.
But then he immediately got slammed.
Yeah, and Kelvin's takedowns look really good though.
Really good.
Yeah,
like he was like you said, he looked strong. I mean, he was picking this big boy up. Yeah. Way up in the air and slamming him to the ground.
And in the clinch too, like he'd get behind him and run against the cage, and like I seen Heinisch's face just seem sort of like exasperated, like what do I need to do? Like I didn't expect this from him. Because I feel like he predicated the fight on like Kelvin trying to strike, and then him getting over on the strikes and getting into clinch and grappling situations when Kelvin was trying to unload. Sort of how Ricky Simon was doing against Kelleher, where he would go to strike and Simon would shoot him for takedowns and mess up that striking exchange. I feel like Heinisch had a similar game plan but couldn't pull it off because Kelvin came in grappling, so he didn't really expect that.
Yeah.
But
it was. I still think Ian Heinisch has potential. I imagine he's pretty young.
I think he's like 29. Yeah. No, actually, no. He's like 32.
Oh, really?
So, like, he's not old.
Yeah.
But, it's like now or never in terms of, like, these wins you need to... Because, it's like, the division moves slowly. Some divisions move slowly. So, like, if you don't beat this guy now, in 2 years, are you even going to be in a position of, like, being able to fight for a title? It's same with Macy Barber. She's young, but if she wants to fight for a title by next year, you got to win the fights you need to win to get there. So
right, but yeah, Kelvin. I mean, impressive with the takedowns. I mean, when did you think you'd see a fight where Kelvin went for 14 takedowns?
Yeah, I think he sort of played it safe too. It's safer to grapple somebody who's not like a Ronaldo Souza. This guy's not going to submit you off his back. He's not. He was going for Kimuras. That seemed sort of like out of desperation of the position.
Yeah.
In sort of to get up and maybe sweep him. But, yeah, I think Kelvin needed a good win, a decent win to get back on the track and get some confidence.
Yeah. So matchup-wise for Gaslam, I honestly say either maybe a rematch with Hermanson or Jared Cannonier.
Yeah, that's the only people that make sense.
Because everybody else is lined up.
Or he could fight the winner of Holland and Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch that fight. Yeah. And I feel like that's a fresh matchup, too.
Yeah. I'll watch Holland fight anybody.
I don't know about you, but Holland versus Gaslam sounds like a great fight.
Yeah.
Just based off styles and the way that Holland fights. I mean, Kelvin can maybe sort of take him down. And, like, how hard is it going to be for you, though? Like, Kevin versus Kelvin. Like, it's just going to be, like, annoying as shit.
I have a hard time saying Kelvin in the first place.
Well, maybe because it's not a real name. It's just not. It's Kevin with extra L for no reason.
Yeah, it's either Kevin or it's Calvin.
Yeah. Don't combine them.
Yeah. And then for Heinisch, I think...
Step back. Keep going. He can fight Akhmedov.
Yeah.
Actually, he just beat Heinisch a while ago. That actually looks shitty on Heinisch that he lost to Amari Akhmedov.
No, he won. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it wrong. He lost. Yeah. He lost. Heinisch did. Yeah, that does look shitty.
Yeah, it's just like you lost to that guy.
Yeah.
That taxi cab driver.
Maybe I was thinking of Gerald Mershart, who was Ian Heinisch's last win.
I feel like these middleweights are all like just like the mid card. They're like jobbers. They're like they're like if you were to turn on like fucking SmackDown.
Yeah.
It's like
it's like the top 13 or 14 are like, okay, these are all pretty goddamn good fighters. And after that, it's like, nah, right.
Yeah. It's like, what are you good at? Like they're all the same sort of, it's like, I'm a grinder. I just grind people down.
Right.
Like, Akhmedov's a grinder. Heinisch is a grinder. Like, Shabazian actually has the most potential out of those people just because he's fucking young.
Yeah.
But
he just needs a new coach.
Yeah. Actually, I feel like Shabazian might be a good fight for Heinisch.
Yeah?
He needs a rebound fight. I don't know where he's been at because he lost to Brunson pretty badly, but I feel like, too, he lost to Brunson in a grappling heavy fight, and we know that Heinisch wants to grapple. So I feel like that's going to be a good test for him, seeing if he could deal with another grappler and made any strides in this game at, a prestigious camp he's at, that gym he's at that's going to make him a champion probably. Fucking Edmund. Yeah. He's definitely going to show up any holes in Shabazian's game there.
Yeah, he's good at shoring up holes.
Yeah.
As he showed with Ronda. Head movement. Head movement. Ronda, please.
Yeah. I seen his reaction to Ronda get knocked out, and like he just is like crying and like he's like grabbing like
he literally at one point you could hear him screaming. He's like, Ronda, please, head movement.
He instantly gets on his phone and cancels a bunch of Amazon orders he had coming through. It's like, all right, based on the winds, like, oh fuck, I don't have any fucking money right now. Yeah. Gotta cancel all this shit.
It's all going downhill.
Yeah. Well, I think that fucking Ronda stepped in and saved his gym. I read that too.
Sure.
Yeah, because obviously during COVID, like, I don't want to shit on Edmund, any more than necessary, but like most gyms probably had a bad year in COVID. Mm-hmm. Like even like I think Straight Blast. Connor stepped in and saved Irish Edmund gym, right?
Yeah.
Irish Edmund.
Yeah.
But
yeah, all the gyms were guaranteed having a hard time. Yeah, Connor donated a bunch of money to that one gym in Ireland.
I don't understand how they haven't made enough from Connor just by purses. Like,
well, I don't think the gym he actually helped out was the gym he still trains.
It was just an affiliate.
I think it was one that he trained at before.
Oh, okay.
And then had moved on from.
Though I think Straight Blast, it's like I can't even tell if that gym's any good.
Yeah.
I really can't tell like whether or not they are yes men to Connor. It seems like sort of like a Irish like fucking Winklejohn Jackson gym where it's just like who's there besides like your champion, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there for a while it seemed like they had everybody, and then it seemed like everybody but their few champions just kind of fell off being there. Anyway, so moving on from that, we then had Macy Barber versus Alexa Grasso for the co-main event.
It was like the best fight in the card besides the main event.
Yeah, which we were all pretty let down that this was the co-main event, but it ended up being a good fight. The only thing I do have to say, first of all, Alexa Grasso won a decision, which she definitely should have, but Macy Barber was throwing fake jabs out there from like
10 feet away. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, because most of the time, I don't have a problem with fighters throwing a jab out there that they don't expect to land to see what the reaction is of the other person. But when you're that far away, they're not going to react to that.
No.
Like, they even said, like, look, Grasso isn't reacting to any of those. I'm like, of course she's not.
No.
She's way too far away to hit her.
What I feel like, though, is like a part of it's like I'm not saying she's not a fighter, but it seems like they think that that's what fighters should do. Like, they're like pretending to being a fighter. Like, I'll throw feints from this distance because that's what fighters do, and that's what it looks like fighters do. So I'm gonna do it. But
it looked absurd. She was way too far away.
Yeah, and you just gotta think about like her gassing didn't seem to suffer, but like there's something to be said about economical movement in the way that use your body where you expend the least amount of energy in being effective.
Yeah.
And you don't want to fucking just waste energy out there in a fight where it's like if you need to push in the clinch and win these clinch battles, your energy should go there. And I'm no fucking energy expert on the body, but it just seems like you have X amount of energy and movement. Or you don't,
Well, and I'm all for feints, but make them worthwhile. If you're that far away, they're not doing anything. You're not able to gauge somebody's reaction when they know they don't have to react because you are nowhere near close enough to touch them.
And two, it's like Grasso is not. She seemed like a great striker in this fight, and a good striker, and a good sense of timing in boxing combinations.
Yeah.
And like you got to think that too. Like, did she expect this to work against somebody who's a great boxer? Yeah. Because if it was against somebody like. I know she fought Roxanne Modafferi, but against somebody who's like that level of a striker, those feints could have worked a little bit better.
Yeah.
But when you reach the top, and like I think though too, how insane would that look against like Valentina?
Oh my god!
like
Valentina might have just put her arms down. Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Just like once you get higher up and like. Fucking, she was ranked higher than Alexa Grasso was.
Yeah.
So she's ranked higher, but her striking looked like it was ranked way lower in terms of skill,
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a great fight, though. It was pretty competitive.
Yeah.
A lot of clinching, but I think Grasso surprised Barber with her strength. I feel like
one with her strength and two with her ability to clinch. Because like we said, she's known as a striker, Grasso. And she really showed some great grappling, but also like at one point she went from like an arm bar to like a arm triangle.
She swept her over.
To like her transitions
looked great.
Just of position and submissions were amazing. Oh, hello.
Sorry, I don't even know if it went off, to be honest.
All right, and we had some technical difficulties trying to get Nicolette in here, so we got her fixed up. She apparently slept in.
I did. That's my bad.
Yeah, it's all right. So we were talking about Macy Barber versus Alexa Grasso. Basically, what we said is the weirdest thing about that fight was Macy Barber throwing feints from 10 feet away.
Yeah.
Like, what good does that do?
Yeah. I mean, she is young.
Yeah.
She's so young.
I don't care how young you are. Don't throw fake punches from 10 feet away.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like her.
And then we talked about Alexa Grasso. Her striking,
Her grappling looked really good too.
Good, and then her grappling surprisingly looked really good.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting her to grapple her.
During one of those exchanges, in the grappling, she had some beautiful transitions to different positions and different submissions. It was really impressive.
And I don't feel like Macy Barber is gonna be the youngest champion ever.
No, I do not.
Not at all.
She definitely looks like she has some power in her punches, and she's got the body to like put her weight up against somebody on the cage, but she doesn't seem to know how to utilize any of it correctly.
Yeah, and I feel like she's very like raw.
Yeah,
like her striking's very raw. Like it's powerful, but power isn't the best thing to go for whenever you're.
Yeah,
your technique has to be develops power if you have right technique.
Yeah, actually, the perfect example of that is actually looking at these strikes. So total strikes thrown, she actually threw 3 more strikes than Grasso, but only landed about half as many. You know, she went at 30% while Grasso went at 59%. Right. That speaks volumes.
Well, a lot of those were like jabs from a distance that didn't.
That's true.
didn't matter.
I wish they wouldn't count those. Actually,
I wish they counted them at 2 for 2 strikes. Every jab you throw doesn't miss, and you're 10 feet away. It's 2 strikes you miss.
2 strikes you miss.
Yeah, so I wish that the strike differential was worse.
Oh
it's hilarious. All right, but let's look at some matchups. I'm kind of intrigued by Grasso, to be honest with you.
Yeah, she's gonna get beat by Valentina if she fights her, but
right. I don't want her to go up there yet.
No. Every fight in this division, I'm like, why are you fighting? Valentina's a champion. I think every fight, I'm like, why is anyone even fighting this division? Because it's bad.
Right.
I like to see her versus Jessica Ai because I feel like she could beat Jessica Ai pretty easily.
I was thinking Jessica Ai or Calvillo.
Yeah.
Where is she? I don't even see her.
She was like number 15. She was 15.
12.
I think she was like 15 yesterday.
I'd like to see her fight Antonina.
Yeah. I don't know. I think she looked good enough to get a decent step up.
Yeah.
Not just the person like right above her.
Stylistically, I want to see that fight.
Plus, I feel like Grasso is pretty marketable. She's like Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
She's cute. She fights well.
Yeah.
You know, she has some attributes that some other fighters in the division don't have.
Yeah, and actually in her post fight, like I like how she talked, like her persona, like who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about like Amanda Hebos.
Yeah.
I really like her.
Well, she's the most bubbly person.
Oh, yeah. She's adorable.
Even like when she lost, she was happy.
Yeah.
I don't know
if that's really great for a fighter or not, but
she probably has some dark, deep demons that she keeps hidden.
Yeah.
Maybe.
See, I think Macy Barber's attitude is like part of the reason why, like you said, how Grasso is like really marketable. That's where I feel like Macy's kind of missing because she just does not shut up.
Yeah.
I feel like she seems like a fighter who's like, all right, just keep watching all these Ronda Rousey fights over and over again, but don't develop any sort of like jiu-jitsu towards Ronda Rousey, just her striking and her attitude.
Yeah.
And that's who you are as a fighter.
You should not model your striking after her.
That's a good point.
Although, I got to say, even though her striking looked bad, her striking looked better than Ronda Rousey's.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey's may have been some of the worst striking I've ever seen.
Well, Ronda Rousey knocked out the GOAT, Beth Correa or whatever. She knocked her out, so that's pretty good.
I'm done talking to you.
Oh my god!
Shut his mic off.
I'll go. Just walk out. Never see me again on the podcast. Never mentions me. All the episodes I'm in are deleted from every channel.
Brandon who?
Yeah. Scrub clean.
So for Macy Barber, I'd like to see a decent step back. I kind of like the idea of maybe Lipsky or McCann.
Oh, yeah. Lipsky.
Lipsky would be good. I feel like Lipsky would beat her though.
Yeah, she poses a.
I don't know. Lipsky looked weaker than she looked not as physically imposing.
Yeah.
And Barber's pretty physically imposing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what Barber definitely has going for her, is that she looks physically imposing. She's a decent sized woman out there for the weight division, it looks like, but she just doesn't know how to utilize it.
Which surprises me because she's in a really good camp.
What camp is she in?
She's with Duke Rufus.
Oh.
Who?
Barber.
Is she? Mm-hmm. That camp's okay. I think the camp's kind of overrated though.
They had their heyday.
Yeah, you think about who's in the camp. It's Ben Askren, the Pettis brothers. Paul Felder, maybe, right?
I'm not sure.
I think Felder left.
I know Emmanuel Sanchez is there.
Is Rose still there?
I think a little bit.
Yeah.
I think she's more at this place in Minnesota. I think is where she trains.
Elevation. Is she at Team Elevation or whatever?
Sounds right. I
can't remember. I'm
drawing a blank.
No, she's with Gaethje's coach.
Trevor Whitman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rose
okay.
is with Whitman
right.
now. But I feel like everywhere a lot of people are just in half camps. They have 3 affiliate camps they're with. I feel like a lot of fighters are like that now, where they cross train everywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's not just a loyalty Team Hammer House or whatever back in the day. It was you're just in one camp and that's
Team Hammer House.
You remember, yeah, you fucking know all of Team Hammer House, don't you?
No.
Yeah, you do. They're all from Columbus. You probably know all those dudes.
No.
You probably talked to Mark Coleman. No.
Mark Coleman.
He's 60.
Let's move on to the next fight.
I'm done. I'm sorry.
Kamaru.
He's gonna be.
I just got here.
I know.
The headliner, Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns for the welterweight championship. Usman wins via TKO in the 3rd round. But at the beginning of this fight, Gilbert Burns had Usman rocked.
Oh yeah,
and I
that
really
knee too. That knee too. Overhand and the knee.
But I really think, especially the first time he rocked him with the overhand, I think he could have done better there. I think he kind of the moment got to him, and he because the second punch he threw after that was this weird standing hammer fist. And I don't think he stayed calm and collective and tried to pick his shots. He kind of freaked out for a second, oh shit.
Yeah. I don't like how Usman reacts to getting hit, by the way. He freezes up.
Yeah.
He doesn't react very well to hard shots. And he has enough composure to fight through it and get back to his fight, but it just seems very it's not as worrisome because I feel I don't know, it just seems like he was stunned pretty often in the first round.
Yeah.
Maybe just the power that Gilbert has.
Yeah, I mean, Gilbert definitely has power. And then we were saying even before that, Usman, just his striking looks stiff. It doesn't, that jab is brutal, but it doesn't even look fast. No. And it's just very,
long and, it's like a piston.
Yeah, and it fucking, when it touches people, it just rocks them.
Yeah.
And, you said, is that Gilbert's chin? But then we look back at the Colby fight, and he broke his jaw with a jab.
I know. That one exchange that they had when him and Colby are literally, they're just, throwing jabs, in and out. And then all of a sudden, you can see the moment when Colby's jaw breaks.
Yeah.
It's oof, man.
I think it's funny that Verdum calls Gilbert Burns old woman face.
That's rude.
Yeah, that's such a Verdum thing to call somebody.
Oh my God.
But
old woman face. Fuck.
I heard it this week and I'm like, that's fucking mean and that's bullying.
Yeah, you're bullying him. Stop it.
But also, what can Burns do to Verdum to stop him?
Not much.
Actually, maybe knock him out now because he gets pretty hard and Verdum's pretty old.
But after the first round was definitely a Burns round. Then after that, Usman just really took over. The jab was landing. One thing he did incorporate more in this fight than his past fights, Usman, was kicks.
Yeah.
He was throwing some leg kicks, a couple body kicks. But he just took over after that first round and was landing some good jabs and some good straights. I mean, just power. It doesn't look like they're that powerful, but they just rock people, man.
The reach difference is pretty profound in this fight, though, too. I think it was 71 inches versus 77, and Usman was fighting long pretty well.
Yeah,
he was keeping that jab out there.
Well, And Gilbert Burns kept trying to go for takedowns. He was getting rocked, and he didn't stand a chance at those takedowns.
Yeah, I feel like Burns, and I'm not playing any excuses, but like I know he did get over COVID, so it's like I wonder how bad his gas tank was in comparison to the Woodley fight. If that has any effect on it. He didn't mention that at all.
Yeah.
He didn't use it as a built-in excuse, but you don't know, you know.
You don't know. And he really didn't look gassed. He just looked like he started getting his fucking face smashed.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
He sat on the ground too long on his back while after he had Usman hurt. And like let basically Usman recover for like half the round and get kicked in the legs.
Yeah, just get up. It's unfortunate. I don't really take this too bad on Burns. I think maybe the moment got to him some. Who knows about COVID? But, I mean, he had Usman rocked. Yeah. And I think if he would have capitalized correctly, that could have been a really different fight.
Or like whenever Usman got hurt like that, it might have been better if he went into a grappling scenario and tried to use his jiu-jitsu and going for a takedown or anything else because he got space. It's just, I feel like they're dry. So, like, if you get on top of Usman, if he's hurt and you're that great of a grappler, you could maybe got a submission faster than you could have got a knockout. And you're not draining your gas tank by still striking and clinching with somebody who's strong, probably stronger than you, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like Burns has had a game plan of get the knockout.
Yeah.
And, like, whenever you see a game plan like that, I feel like it's very one-dimensional. And if you don't have he didn't have a plan B. He's like once he became less fast and Usman got his timing down, his plan A fell apart.
Yeah, I think he got in Gilbert's head a little bit at the beginning as well too, because until the fight was over, there was no love from Usman.
No,
he was intense.
Yeah,
and I think Gilbert was not quite expecting that. I think he didn't even touch gloves.
No, but after Burns like dropped him in the first round, Usman touched his glove at the end of the round. Like
You got me.
Yeah.
Man,
I feel like. Okay, good.
When he knocked him down, I was going in. Like, I was like, yes. This guy started screaming, and then third round comes, and then
you
I
knew.
was like, oh.
Well, then the second round, I knew he was done for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
unless it's like he has miraculous recovery between rounds, but
yeah, the second I was all messed up in that video. Thought it was the second round. It was the third round. I was I was like, wait a minute. I don't even know what round we're in right now. But you did too, though, because you said second too.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like, because I feel like the finish happened in my head. It was like the third round seemed like a continuation of the second round.
Yeah.
It was the same.
Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Like nothing in the round between rounds changed for the fight. The complexion of the fight. Burns was still hurt. It seemed like so.
Yeah. I will say, I think. Even me, I think a lot of us have keep doubting Usman because we don't think his striking is that good or this or that, and he just keeps proving us wrong. And man, he's looking like who beats him.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
It's really becoming like, okay, this dude's just a fucking monster.
He's dominant as fuck.
Yeah.
I still think when he talks, the way he talks is so cringy to me. I know that it's like probably more me than him. But it just like seems like everything he says is like dialogue from a movie or something. Like you don't even like the way he talks and the way like it's like sort of like a weird bravado about him, and it doesn't make me dislike him, but it's just like, can you just like when he's more real, it's nice.
Yeah.
Like pre-fights, the way he talks about stuff, like it's just like it's cringy, and like I feel like he has a sort of air about him of like cringiness that sort of. It translates to the screen differently. I don't know. It's weird to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at some matchups for these guys. For Usman, there's really not too many choices here.
Covington versus Edwards.
Yeah, Covington versus Edwards. Winner or Jorge, which we'll see if that happens. I'll tell you one thing that I feel like after seeing again what he did to Burns, even though Masvidal got dominated, you still have to give him some credit for being able to do what he did and nullify Usman. Right. And on short notice, but that's also short notice for Usman, but I mean, it's still impressive. But I would say if you don't wait for the winner of that, then Masvidal or Thompson. But it sounds like Dana White's saying Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards is the number one contender matchup.
Well, we got to see how it shakes out for Masvidal in terms of the insurrection charges he has against him for the Capitol. But then after those clear.
Leave it to you.
But if they match up Thompson and Chiesa, that could be a good fight, and the winner of that could move closer.
Yeah.
It just depends on how they match up these top guys up here. And how the fuck is Tyron Woodley still number 6?
I don't know.
He hasn't won literally since he beat Darren Till.
Yeah.
And like the way they do these rankings, it's like if you get up there, your grandfathered in through multiple losses, he should be number 17.
Yeah.
Like literally, he hasn't won a fight since like 2018, 19 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
he's fighting Vincent Luque.
Vicente
Luque.
It's Vincent.
Whatever. It's Vincent.
Way to Americanize his name.
Yeah, well, that's what I do.
If he doesn't like it, then he needs to fight for a different company, all right?
Yeah. You don't like UFC. It? Go to Bellator. Go to one. So that's pretty much it for
Woodley needs to be out of there, and like I feel like Maya should be out of there too.
Oh yeah.
Like
but then for Burns, I mean honestly, you can line up Burns against Masvidal, Chiesa, Thompson.
I actually would like to see. Here's what I want to see. I want to see. Makes sense more so to me. Money wise, obviously it doesn't make sense, but Colby versus Edwards needs made fast.
Yeah.
That winner could fight Usman. Burns versus Masvidal.
Yeah.
That's a good ass fight.
Yeah, I think that's a good ass fight.
And I feel like it makes more sense. They're both coming off losses to Usman.
Yeah.
Masvidal.
I'll let you guys talk about this. I got a piss to go.
Good. But Masvidal, it's like he doesn't deserve another title shot. He hasn't beat anyone in the top 10.
Yeah.
Like Diaz and Ben Askren were his last wins, so it's like
right now,
this is not as impressive. But money wise, of course, Masvidal draws more. But I feel like a rematch against Colby can draw a decent amount of money. I don't know how much Colby's gonna draw anything after Trump is out of office. Seriously, not to make it about Trump, but like, how's his gimmick, gonna be continuing? I don't know.
That's a good point. I don't know.
But I was talking about earlier. I think that Thompson stylistically provides a different matchup for Usman. His movement is insane, and I don't know if he'll get nullified against the cage as easily as some of the other people that Usman's done that to. And his striking is better than Usman's.
Oh
yeah. Of course, Usman's power and his like composure would maybe cause problems for Thompson. He's a little older, so his power, if he catches Thompson, he could hurt him. But I feel like Thompson needs another fight to get there. But as far as the top 10, he's the most compelling title challenger.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that.
No, I didn't hear the rest of it. But
I was saying that Thompson probably is a most compelling matchup in the top 10.
Definitely most compelling.
Yeah, in terms of like styles.
But at the same time, when you said Masvidal doesn't deserve another title shot, at the same time, in a way, he performed better than Colby and Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's just like about it's a meritocracy. It's not about you got to work. You can't just fucking sit out and bitch on Twitter for a full year and then get another title shot just because you took it on short notice. And even Usman said that too. He has a built-in excuse as to why he lost that fight.
Right.
And Usman said he knows Masvidal was training longer than he let on.
Yeah.
That he was training for a while for a fight, but
there is a good chance that we do end up getting the Masvidal fight because it's what Usman called for as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's just about the money there, and I think it's one of the reasons Usman did it because he thinks if they get enough hype around it, that'll be a big money fight.
Yeah, and I feel like Usman will probably perform better against Masvidal, and I mean Masvidal is good, but I was just saying like. His last 2 wins are Nate Diaz and Ben Askren.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
especially the Ben Askren.
Yeah, it's just like he has no wins in the top 10. He actually only has. Does he have any wins in the top 10? No, he lost to Usman. He lost to Stephen Thompson already. Stephen Thompson called out Masvidal. Masvidal didn't respond to Stephen Thompson.
Right.
And like you think you'd want the L back.
Yeah.
You lost to Stephen Thompson.
Yeah.
And that fight could have been made instead of Thompson versus fucking Jeff Neal. Thompson is always going to be a contender. He's looked as good as ever.
Yeah.
And it just I feel like Masvidal talks all that shit online now and just doesn't take fights how he should, you know?
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to some news. I just had a couple things real quick. It's great that you wore the Bellator because I'm actually definitely going to bring up Bellator news.
Yes.
Just because I will actually watch this.
I'm so excited
This
for
light
this.
heavyweight Grand Prix.
This picture. What is this?
It is the light heavyweight Grand Prix. It's
Is
the
this
best
an
picture
offici-
I could find.
Okay, I don't know if this is an official Bellator picture.
I don't know. But
looks
it's the
like-
best one I could find.
It looks like WWF No Mercy screen back from Nintendo 64.
But it was the best one I could find. I'm actually excited for this. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get Showtime for this. Their light heavyweight division
It's
looks
stacked.
awesome.
Stacked.
So first you're gonna have Ryan Bader versus Lyoto Machida
Rematch.
Yeah,
It's a
and
rematch.
excited for that. And then
I don't know who Corey Anderson's fighting. I don't know that
Yeah,
guy.
I don't know who that guy is.
That
It's
would
Corey
be-
Anderson versus Yagin Shermurdov. I don't know,
Bro.
but
Sounds Russian or something.
yeah, but we'll see. And then
Nemkov versus Phil Davis
Nemkov
rematch.
versus Phil Davis. I'm excited for that. And then, of course, I'm very excited for Rumble versus Romero. I'm a little upset that they made that the first matchup, though. Like, why wouldn't you try to hopefully have those guys meet up later in this tournament?
Probably because they're afraid that it's not going to go the way they think, so they match.
So
to
one
match
of them,
up.
one of them
Yeah.
gets out. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that fight is interesting, but also has the potential to be really boring.
I don't
Yeah.
Because Romero's kind of boring.
He is, but do you think Rumble's not going to go in there and try to knock his head off?
Well, for year off layoff Rumble, I don't know how he's gonna look.
Yeah, it's true.
And like I don't think Rumble likes fighting. I don't think I think he does it as like a trade.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he's reasonably good at it. He's a good fighter, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's a fighter in the way that
He's actually really a decent fighter. He just has insane power.
right. And his strike. Well, like I've never even seen Rumble even rocked.
No,
Think about it. Like, have you seen Rumble even like rocked
No.
or in trouble on the feet?
no.
It's always just like a mental deficiencies of like being taken down and choked out.
Yeah.
But like, so he actually has underrated defense, but like, he doesn't have the grit. Like he sort of gives up,
Yeah.
like he, mentally in a lot of his fights, especially the Cormier fights. But I'm interested to see how he looks. Hope he's not back for just a payday.
Right.
Hopefully his heart's in
Yeah.
it, you know. But
Let's throw just random who we think wins pick out there.
I think Nemkov beats everybody.
I think Nemkov's winning the whole thing. He's scary.
I think it's between Nemkov and Johnson. If Johnson comes back looking like Johnson, because that power is just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Agreed.
But I think I'm actually going to have to go with Nemkov as well.
Yeah, Nemkov's young too. He's look at everybody else in the tournament.
Yeah.
Rumble's like 37. Yoel's 42. Phil Davis is probably 37 now.
Romero's maybe 42. He could be 55.
Yeah. His birth certificate, he needs to prove his age, actually.
Right.
Machida's like 41. Bader's 37, 38. So
Yeah.
Corey Anderson's like 32, 33. So he's the youngest guy. But like it's just all these guys are way older than Nemkov. Nemkov's young in his prime.
Yeah.
Already the champion. Already beat Bader. So
like through the like matchup wise, oh man, that Lyoto Machida Ryan Bader fight, I don't know.
I think Bader knocks him out again.
Yeah.
I
Oh, I think
that
Bader
happened.
knocks Machida out. I think Machida's a little too slow.
Yeah. Yeah. And that karate style was good for a minute, and then people kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
His karate style, obviously, Stephen Thompson's a little different.
We could see another Machida error come through, like
Oh my God.
Rogan said. There's like one fight.
Right.
But Anderson versus that guy, I don't know.
Because I don't know that guy.
Yeah, I know Anderson, and he looks like Carl Weathers from Predator in that picture right there.
He does.
But
I think I have to go Anderson just because I have no idea about that other guy.
yeah, unless that guy is, I mean, Anderson could beat lower end fighters.
Yes.
He's not ever gonna be champion himself, but
No.
he does what he does pretty well. He's a great grappler,
Yeah.
and that guy's name makes me think that he also can grapple.
Yes. It definitely makes me think he can grapple.
Anything with an Ov or an Ev at the end.
Yeah,
I
like-
really had that one card in Russia, and literally everybody's last name ended in Ov or an Ev, and I put on my Instagram story, I was like, well, if this wasn't a straight indicator that this card is in Russia, I do not know what is.
Yeah. Then obviously Nemkov versus Davis. I'm pretty sure we're all
Nemkov.
saying Nemkov.
Davis has not gotten any better since like he was in the UFC or like since he fought Rashad Evans back 10 years ago.
Yeah, it seems like with his build and his wrestling background, he should be really good.
And now he's a Penn State wrestler.
He just
his shoulders are like wings.
Yeah, he's like wearing armor on his shoulders. Yeah. And then Rumble versus Romero, I don't fucking know.
Man.
I'm going. It's hard to say because Romero also never really gets rocked for the most part, you know. Yeah. But I think I'm going Rumble just because of that power.
I'm gonna pick Romero because I feel like his timing has to be better than Rumble's. Even though he's older, he's fought way more. Yeah, and like he's fought against killers.
But what do you think he's gonna do? You think he's gonna knock Rumble out?
I think you can catch him and yeah, because it's like.
But you just talked about how Rumble's never been rocked.
But he's never fought someone with a counter striker like Romero.
That's true.
Who also hits very hard.
True.
And Rumble mentally is more mentally fragile than Romero.
Yeah.
Romero has ways to lose against people, but Rumble, if he has to win, he has to come in and try to not get countered. And Romero's countering is really good.
Yeah.
His last loss was to Izzy.
Yeah.
He caught Izzy with a good bomb and looked, how he looked in that fight, but it's just hard to bet on somebody 4 years off,
Yeah.
It's a very unknown thing, so.
I have a feeling it's going to be Bader versus Nemkov again.
Yeah.
It's kind of set up for that.
Yeah.
I wish they would have set up the brackets differently, though. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like they could have had different matchups that were.
I kind of wish they would have did it like they did the other Grand Prix where they, I think it was more people, though. I think it was, instead of it being,
I actually would just like to have seen, I would have just liked to have seen Rumble and Romero on the other side and Corey Anderson and that guy over on Nemkov's side.
Yeah, like they could have done like Romero versus Bader first.
Yeah.
That'd been. I feel like it's a more compelling matchup because, Bader's gonna try to wrestle. I think. I don't know. I'm interested to see Rumble, but it's like fucking. I don't know how good he's gonna be, dude.
Yeah.
It's just like it's hard to be excited for him because it's like, is this dude coming back because he's broke?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what it sounds like to me based off his interviews when he retired. He didn't like fighting, and he probably needs some money.
Yeah.
I'm actually really glad that
Saucy
is not in this. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know. I mean, how he would fare at light heavyweight now. I mean, at one point in time, he was, light heavyweight champion over in what was it?
Strikeforce.
Strikeforce. Yeah, he beat Babalu.
Yeah. But these guys are monsters.
I know. That's how. As soon as I seen it,
comparatively,
the whole the thumbnail for everything was a picture of Moose and Coker, and I was like, man, they're really gonna put Mousasi in this. And then they released the bracket, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Although it would have been probably cooler to see him than Yashar Marfafurf.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe for everybody else, not for me.
They should have put that dude versus it's just funny because that's literally. The least interesting matchup in the bracket, and they know that for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
Corey
Honestly,
Anderson,
they should have fed him to Nemkov first. Honestly,
fed him.
The guy's the champion. Give him the no-name guy.
Yeah, Nemkov looks like
this guy will be.
He's gonna win it. He's gonna be
he's gonna be DC.
Yeah, he's gonna be the Cormier of this. I actually need to look this dude up.
Right now, I'm concerned.
I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
None of us knew who Daniel Cormier was when he won the Strikeforce heavyweight tournament.
The first time I seen DC fight, I remember I was on vacation.
He was an alternate, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I remember I was on vacation. And I seen him fight Jeff Monson.
Yeah.
And it was the same. I think it was the same night as Overeem versus Verdum in Strikeforce. But I remember seeing him fight Monson, and I watched that fight on vacation on my phone. I streamed it.
Yeah.
And it's fucking 10 years ago. But it's just weird to think now it's like they'd call him the Black Fedor back then because of the way he fought.
Yeah.
And now Fedor's the white DC, I guess, right?
All right, let's move on.
Right.
So this is just real quick. Nate Diaz rips little bitch Dustin Poirier for taking trilogy fight with Conor McGregor. Nate Diaz, I don't think you have room to talk about anything.
I love Nate.
Fight. I love him, but you got to fight, man.
I actually hate him. I watched his interview. I hated it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the interview.
It sucked.
But I like Nate Diaz because he's a fighter. You know what I mean? When he actually gets in there, he's a scrapper.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to actually get in there and fight. And now he's like, fuck 155, come to 170. Dude, For what?
These dudes are chasing titles.
Yeah. Yeah, they're chasing titles. They don't want to come fight you at 170.
Yeah. And also, like, he said he was never finished. Like, dude, you were finished.
Yeah.
Josh Thompson head kicked you.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like he frames everything of, like, I ran out of time. I'm going to win the fight. Like, dude, go fight someone in the street then.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're in a sport where there's rounds.
Right.
Time limits.
That's how it works.
And if you can't win within 15 or 25 minutes, you didn't win.
Yeah. And we already talked about this. Dana White eyes Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards as number one contender fight. Leon going through everything he's gone for. I believe he deserves a big fight. And if it's number one contender fight against Colby, I'm for it.
I cannot believe that fight got canned again.
Yeah, because so basically he was supposed to fight Khamzat first. I think, did Leon get COVID first and then Khamzat?
I think it was
don't know.
Khamzat first, then Leon, then Khamzat 4 more times somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Khamzat actually died last night from COVID. He's just dead now. They made the fight again, though. Khamzat will be there hopefully in April.
Right.
He's dead, though.
Yeah. So then, next bit of news, Dana White says Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor trilogy will not be for the lightweight title.
Oh, man.
I mean, Dustin deserves a shot at the lightweight title.
He doesn't care, though.
Yeah, Conor, I don't think deserves a shot at the lightweight title, but let's give somebody the fucking title. Let's figure this out.
Chandler versus Oliveira is the only fight to make then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
And they could do maybe RDA versus Gaethje or something like that.
Well, and Dana White did say, like, these guys are, like, the top 4 or 5 or whatever are going to fight it out, and then we'll figure out who's going to go for that. So that is what it is.
Did you say Gaethje is talking shit about Oliveira?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, I mean, he's like, who's he beaten? What has he done? He's won 8 in a row, first of all.
Yeah.
And you just lost. Like, who have you beaten then? Like, really, though?
Yeah.
Like, you look at this one's fucking James Vick.
Yeah.
Bro, James Vick, Barboza.
Yeah, Cowboy,
and then fucking Ferguson.
Yeah.
That's his win streak, too.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, it ain't that. It's.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
Ferguson.
shit on it, but
Yeah.
if you're shitting on someone else's win streak, because like you think about the people that, like Kevin Lee, if I know you guys hate Kevin Lee, but if Kevin Lee were to match up against James Vick,
Yeah.
who would win? Okay, if Kevin Lee were to fight Cowboy now, who would win? Probably
Yeah.
Kevin Lee.
Right.
Probably Kevin Lee.
I would have to assume.
Yeah, and like it's just like, dude, and Kevin Lee already beat the shit out of Barboza, so like,
Yeah.
you know, it just, dude, go fight somebody and get a win.
Yeah. All right, moving right along. Dana White says John Jones will fight Stipe versus Francis, winner for the heavyweight title. But Jones has already come out and said, I keep seeing the stuff on the media. I guess we're going to have to figure out a contract.
Like, dude,
you're going to get paid. It's going to be a massive fight.
yeah.
Right.
I don't understand. I hate the idea of fighters sitting in a queue for a fight that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Because like, what if Francis gets COVID and that fight's pushed back till May?
Yeah.
And like, you know,
I
hope
think
it doesn't
Francis
happen.
just fights if he gets COVID.
Yeah, he don't give a fuck.
He's like, I'm going to knock him out. So
Yeah.
It's good. Guys, this is going to be 30 seconds.
Yeah. I hope Francis wins.
I hope Francis wins, and then I hope he knocks out
Did you
John
see him on
Jones.
Joe Rogan? Did you see anything about that?
I didn't. I'm going to watch that one, though, for sure.
It's fucking nuts. Like, his story is nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like-
Francis is?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he was literally working in, like, what, salt mines?
Yeah,
or
he was like
something
10 years old or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
I feel like Francis is older than what it says.
possibly. But do you watched his Instagram where he just lets people jack him in his core?
Yeah.
Like professional fighters. He's like,
But
all
Ryan
right.
Garcia, they had him
Jesus
throwing body
Christ,
punches
dude.
at him.
And he's like, ha, ha, ha. Like, ugh. Like, don't throw body punches on him.
It's crazy he didn't hear about MMA until like he was only training for 4 years before he fought Stipe.
Yeah.
He only been training MMA for 4 years.
Wow.
Insane.
And like he doesn't have a combat sports background.
No.
He's just a big miner from like Nigeria or whatever.
With death in his hands.
Cameroon.
Death in his hands. And then Charles shuts down
Good.
Nate Diaz fight request. No interest, homie.
Good.
And he shouldn't have any interest. Like, you're going for a title. There's no reason for you to fight Diaz.
And that's
at
not a money
170.
fight. It's not a fucking money fight anyways. Like no
No.
one's like, yeah, Oliveira versus Diaz is the fight I need to see.
Yeah.
No one thinks that.
No. Nope. Honestly, the only real big money fight for Diaz at this point would probably be the Conor McGregor trilogy.
Or like fucking Masvidal too, I guess.
Yeah, rematch against Masvidal.
But that's just, I don't even know if that one would even be as good now. I think a lot of people are getting frustrated with Masvidal as well.
Well, it's these guys get so big and then they just like sit out for so long, and it's just like you can't fucking.
The other thing too, Johnny Walker's out of his fight against Jimmy Crute.
Yeah, Anthony Smith.
Oh, that's right. Anthony Smith stepped in. That's right.
That's fucking way better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like Johnny Walker's gonna get knocked out 14 times.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Man, Anthony Smith needs to win this then. Like, bad.
Yeah.
All I think about.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of rooting for Crute though.
Oh yeah. I like Jimmy Crute.
I feel like Crute has a higher ceiling in the division going forward this year. Like Smith's never gonna be a champion. He's never even probably gonna get back to a title shot.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
So then the next card is a fight night card. Curtis Blaydes versus Derek Lewis is the headliner. To me, the second most interesting fight, even though one of them's name is Arlovsky, is him versus Tom Aspinall. Because I think Tom Aspinall has potential.
Yeah. Also, Phil Hawes is that one guy who fucking brutally knocked out that one guy in the late summer. Remember Phil Hawes? He like.
I don't know if I remember that. Sometimes it's hard to put some of these together. We've been watching so many now.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Look at the knockout view. If Nate Landwehr is fighting Julian Rosa, that should be a fun fight. Eddie Wilding's on the card. That's cool.
Yeah, he's probably on the undercard there, huh?
Jokar Close is the one who almost knocked out Dariush and got knocked out himself.
This card isn't great, though.
Dude, Dariush is like the most rootable fighter. He's just like the most...
Benil?
Yeah, easily like the nicest guy.
Yeah.
You just want to root for him every fight now. Like,
yeah.
He deserves to be in the top 5. Fight someone in the top 5, I think.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
I hope Aspinall beats Arlovsky, by the way.
Same. I like Arlovsky just really because of history. But Aspinall, I really think, has potential to move up.
Yeah, Tom Frank Mir Aspinall.
Yeah, it's definitely Frank Mir's brother. I don't know why he's coming up with that fake name.
If he doesn't put Frank Mir's name as his nickname, dude, that'd be the best.
If that was his nickname, like
someone else's whole fighting name.
Tom Frank Mir Aspinall. I want to see if he has a nickname now. I'm clicking on him.
It's probably something generic that's not as good as that.
Nope, nothing. Man, you got to go with Frank Mir, brother.
Yeah. Lean into it.
Lean into it hard.
It's funnier that way.
Yeah. But so for the main event, that's really the only one we'll really talk about here. Curtis Blaydes versus Derek Lewis. I honestly probably expect a Curtis Blaydes win. I'm praying for a Derek Lewis win.
I'm praying for a Curtis Blaydes win.
Are you?
Yeah. I like Curtis Blaydes. I like how I follow him on Instagram, and like I like how he knows that he's boring, but he doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to win. Yeah, and like I respect that because it's like, you think about it, and also I feel like the same way with moving forward in the division, Lewis is never gonna be champion. I don't think.
See, I think it's a wild shot in the dark, but I think he always has a chance just because.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because he does tend to knock people out when you don't expect him to.
Right.
Like he's getting his ass kicked. This is about to, oh shit, he just knocked him out. Cold.
Yeah, but it always just seems like it falls like his style is so fucking. It's like the biggest holes possible. Like he just isn't technical. He has no grappling unless he just gets up off the ground.
Right.
Like it just like it's weird how he wins, and like I like him, but I just don't think that Blaydes is like 28, 29. He can only get better as a striker. He has the best wrestling in the division, probably.
Yeah.
Now that DC's gone, so I feel like he has a lot more to give in the division. So a setback against Lewis doesn't do as much for me. In terms of interesting fights. Yeah. But also, Blaydes lost Francis twice.
That's what I'm saying too. Like, so if Francis ends up with that championship, you're like, oh, so are we going to see Blaydes versus Ngannou 3?
Right.
But we've seen worse.
True.
People fight back at the title, so.
True.
But as far as any other fights on the card, I don't like who the fuck's Pat Sabatini? Like,
right.
Like Alexei Olenek, that's kind of interesting that he's still on there. Fucking. Oh yeah, this
might be the only person who has more fights than Alisar over him.
Yeah, and he more wear and tear too, probably because he looks like shit.
Yeah, he looks like an old man.
Yeah, go down a little bit, please. Let's want to see what's under there.
John Castaneda.
Who the fuck's that?
I follow him and his wife both on Instagram. I love his wife. She's awesome. but he's pretty cool. They called him up to fight on Fight Island, and they must have called him back. He's gonna fight Eddie Wineland. That's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't the worst fight card I've seen. Like, there's some interesting people on there. I'm telling you, Phil Hawes is the one. We were really impressed by his knockout. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up with that. I got another podcast to do here in a little while, so we'll wrap it up. This is MMA Fools. We're out of here.
Peace.